is up, guys? Welcome to Formula 1 2020. We have I want to say like a preview build of the game, which we are here showcasing for you guys today. So if you do enjoy this type of content, please smash that like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel to see plenty more Formula 1 2020 game content. I do have a copy of the game. It's not the full version of the game. We can only do limited amount of things. Basically what you can see is what you've got. We can only really do time trial at this stage, so if there's any kind of car and track combinations you want to see, then please let me know down in the comments, whether it be, I don't know, setup videos, hot laps, whatever. It does have to be time trial specific, but that type of content I can now curate for you guys. So feel free to throw video ideas my way. But to start things off, we are going to do not a race. That's a very easy habit to fall into for me. We're going to do a time trial session around Zandvoort, the new circuit that is returning to the Formula 1 calendar as of this year, or at least it was supposed to. So what we're going to do today is, we're jumping in the Mclaren, but we're going to have a little play in a few other cars, particularly around the midfield, and just kind of compare where the pace kind of lies with the upper midfield cars. So we'll give that a go. I'm also, oh Jesus, this is my first lap of this circuit, by the way, in the Codemasters layout. So just bear in mind, first couple of laps are going to be a little bit rusty, but yeah, this actually isn't my first gameplay on the game. A video that you'll see maybe later today or even tomorrow, it'll be a world record attempt at Bahrain. That's actually my first laps on the game, and you guys will see that at a later date, but make sure you subscribe to see that. But anyway, here we are. Zandvoort in the McLaren, which is tipped to be the best of the midfield cars, supposed to be better than the Renault, supposed to be, I don't know, up there around the likes of the Racing Point, and that's kind of what I want to test, because we only have the testing data and stuff like that to gauge where these cars should sit in the performance index. And so this is kind of helpful, I guess, to see what kind of career mode car I want to get into. But yeah, first laps on the McLaren, you can see it's a 1 minute 13.5. Some of the good times so far are in the lower 10s, and some people are even in the 9s, I believe. So that's where we'll be aiming to get to as we step up into faster cars. I think TRL Limitless and I contrast to some of the faster guys at the top of the leaderboards at this stage. But let's get back to the game itself. Formula 1 2020 feels like, in general, I find that the game is a lot nicer to drive. I feel like, on average, there's a little bit more downforce in these cars. There are random snaps of oversteer occasionally here or there, so that's something you need to watch out for. But I don't know, in general, it's weird. There's more traction, but it's easier to lose the back end in a snap oversteer moment. You'll be able to see more examples of this as we go along, especially at Bahrain. But yeah, that's kind of just how it goes. On average, this game is faster than last year's game, but yeah, really enjoying it so far. I've got about 5, 6, 7 hours on the game, and I'm loving it. It's I think it's really going to suit the average pleb like me, who turns in too much into corners or who goes in too fast, because these cars are a bit more handy. They're a bit more capable now, so that's definitely worth mentioning. But anyway, on this lap in particular, we are up by 2.1 seconds. Very lucky not to get a warning for track extending there out of the penultimate corner. That penultimate corner is deceptively tight on exit and can really catch you out there, but we get a decent time in. That was a 1:11.4. Haven't fully nailed a lap yet, and that continues here as we head through turn 1. Just touching the curb there and shifting down into second gear just gave the car a little bit too much rotation. TRL Limitless would be absolutely loving life there, but yeah, not completely stringing together a lap just yet. And a lot of the corners through the middle sector here, I'm not exactly maximizing the track either, so this is what I'm slowly doing as I build up my pace. This McLaren, I will say, is its handling characteristics compared to the other cars. It had quite a I think it had the most downforce out of any of the midfield cars. But by the same token, it was quite easy to snap and overstep that mark. We're going to test the Renault next, I believe. But I think this lap here is my best lap in the McLaren. And we're going to ride on board for the entirety of this lap, going through that little right-hand kink. You would think you'd want to throw the car in as deep as you can, but it doesn't really matter because as soon as you get out of that corner, you're braking anyway. Now as you run through the dunes here, up the hill, it's pretty flat here compared to some other sims like Assetto Corsa, so it's relatively low drama. Then through here, throw it in 6th gear, use up all the road if you can. A lot of these corners require a late apex if you can. This right-hander there, very understeery, especially in this car. Well, it was more understeery in some of the cars that we do later on in the video. But didn't matter, that was a very understeery corner. Heading into here, you can mount the curb a little bit, get the car over to the right before you flick it left, and head into the final section of the lap. Again, the penultimate corner, very, very tight on exit and easy to get done for track extending, but we managed to avoid that this time. Open the DRS as we exit the final corner and up to the line. We're up by 5.5 tenths. It is a 1 minute 10.887. A pretty good lap. Not perfect. There's definitely about 2 or 3 tenths I probably could have shaved off of that. But in terms of a time in the McLaren, I think that's pretty darn competitive. So that's where we stand. Just casually 2 seconds in front of Jimmer. I'll take that. And anyway, we move on. And we're going to jump in the Renault next. And we're going to see if the Renault is any faster than the McLaren. I just want to gauge which is the fastest upper midfield car. I might even try the Redbull at the end as well, just to see how much faster the Redbull is than, say, the rest of the field. But anyway, we jump in the Renault, and that was my first corner. We had a good initial turn in, but then we just lost it on exit. And that's something I did notice consistently over the running that I did in this car, is that the Renault seems quite nice, at least in terms of front grip. It didn't have as much downforce as the McLaren, so it wasn't as good at high speed, but I feel like this car really lends itself well at lower speed and just initial steering response. But yeah, it was a little bit more tricky to drive than the McLaren. It did have a slightly better straight line speed as well, so that's something worth mentioning. But you know, the Renault wasn't that much slower than the McLaren. I think if anything, the reason why I'm up here is because I didn't get a perfect lap in the McLaren, but I'm just getting more and more used to the track as we go along. So that is certainly helping. This looks like it might be my best lap actually in the Renault. So as we go through turn 1, you can see we lose a bit of time on exit there. That's just down to the McLaren having a little bit more downforce than the Renault into here. This is the first couple of corners are very, very easy to lose the back end. You have to be very progressive with the throttle. You can easily get sucked into, you know, getting on the power too early, and then you'll lose the back end massively and spin out. It's a very fine margin here at Zandvoort. You're right on the ragged edge, but once you get it right, it's so darn satisfying. Here, this corner, the understeery right-hander, really bad, especially in this car. The Renault doesn't seem to like the longer corners as much as what the McLaren does. But we're a tenth and a half, about just over a tenth up as we head into the third sector. Maybe lost a little bit of time there into the heavy braking zone. And again, we're probably going to lose the delta here to the McLaren as we go through this penultimate corner. We don't have as much downforce, and that really shows there. Down a tenth and a bit as we exit the final corner. We're going to gain a little bit of time back as the Renault is faster, but not enough to beat it. And it is a 1:11 flat. Now we move on to the racing point, which in testing looked like an absolute beast, didn't it? It was the BTEC Mercedes, essentially the 2019 Mercedes, brought to life here in the 2020 season. Let's see if this car is amazing. It looked like it was the second or third best car. It really is hard to tell, at least it wasn't testing. But I can tell you that the racing point has not been done any justice by Codemasters here, because it was... We're looking all right at the moment in terms of the delta, but this was actually a really good lap that I was nailing together in this racing point. It was it was just capable. It had decent straight line speed. It was up there with the Renault, I would say. But the Racing Point was just a little bit more understeery, a little bit more stable. There's nothing really to say about it. It didn't have too much of a bad handling characteristic. It was just alright, to be honest. But as we head through the final couple of corners, again, we're going to lose out massively. And the McLaren is going to hold firm once again, just a tenth shy of their time once again. So in terms of the midfield cars, it really looks like we're splitting fibers here. I guess it really just depends on the driver to get the most out of it. But in its current standing, the midfield cars are very, very close. We now move on to the Red Bull now, and my goodness, this car handles good. It is very, very good. It's head and shoulders above the McLaren. It's just got so much downforce. Not as fast as the McLaren in a straight line, oddly enough. But man, does this thing handle really good. I'm actually going to let you guys ride on board for the entirety of this lap with just the engine sound, so you guys can enjoy the Honda purring around this circuit. So we're coming to the end of the lap now, and that eargasm is now over as we come up to the line. It's a 8.5 tenth improvement. We do a 10 flat straight away, and we're now creeping into the 9s. It's a 9.7.62. It's pretty ridiculous how much faster it is than the rest of the midfield. It looks like Codemasters doesn't have much faith in the lower guys. I really would have hoped that the midfield, or at least I hope in real life, that the midfield is a bit closer than what it was last year. But it could be just as bad, if not worse, than 2019. We'll just have to wait and see. The thing is, no one really knows. Not even the teams. They don't really know where they stand versus everyone else. We haven't all turned up the engine modes to, party mode and just whacked your virtual knobs out and compared sizes. I mean, oh Jesus. Alright, anyway, we're up by a 10.5 as we head into the third sector. This again is a pretty good lap. I didn't actually mount the curb that much heading into that right-hand kind of hairpin corner. So definitely a little bit more time left on the table there as we approach the final couple of corners. You can really chuck the Red Bull into that penultimate corner. And there we did mount the curb a lot on exit. Thankfully didn't get denied the track limits exclusion from the lap. And we come across the line. That is a 109.617. That puts me third on the leaderboards around Zandvoort. And I am in a Red Bull. The two guys in front of me, that being Like Contrast and TRL Limitless, the league racing sweat that he is in the Mercedes, it's only 3/10 away. So, to be only that far away in the Red Bull, it either says I'm maybe decent at this game, or the Red Bull is actually quite close to the front running pace. It's probably the latter. But I will say, I tried Bahrain, and you'll see that video later. Man, I felt full of confidence with that car at that circuit. I was in the Ferrari and I was running default setup, and I was directly comparing it to last year's game, and wow. I'll touch upon more of that in that video, but yeah, that is this first video of F1 2020. I've really just banged on about the comparison of the car performance relative to each other. I'm sorry if I haven't really delved too deep into, I don't know, the features or what the proper handling is like on this game. But I will do a better job of that in future videos. I do have a lot of videos that are going to be coming out over the course of today, tomorrow, the next day. So we've got plenty of time to dive into the depths of F1 2020. But if there's anything you want to know, let me know down in the comments, and I will answer away. And let's just enjoy the content. It's going to be absolutely sick. So hopefully you guys enjoy. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys for a brand new F1 2020 video very soon. Later today, in fact. Be there.